In the beginning of the story, a child is born whose name is Luchan. Luchan is a mysterious child because he has a strange mark on his head. This mark shows that he has a special strength and power. But despite all this, his father does not love him. Although he is very rich and everything is fine, he still has no interest in his family. In contrast to his father, his mother loves Luchan deeply. As time passes, Luchan grows up, and we see that he is now about 7 or 8 years old. Even now, his father remains distant. He has abandoned him completely. Because of this, he faces many problems with food and drink. One day, Luchan's mother is caught stealing food. As a result, the authorities there punish her severely. There, we see Luchan in the market, eating chocolate and watching a game show. Then a boy comes among the crowd and steals his chocolate. When Luchan sees this, he runs after him to get his chocolate back. But that boy and his friend mock Luchan and bully him a lot. At the same time, they remove the cap from his head and hit him on the mark. This causes Luchan so much pain that he collapses and becomes unconscious. But then Luchan rises with great power and starts attacking all those boys one by one. Then some people arrive and stop Luchan from doing this. Now a commander of the king has also come to this market. He sees Luchan fighting. He is very impressed by Luchan's great strength and takes him along. Then Luchan's mother is expelled from the palace. Here, we see that his mother's condition is very bad because she is injured. The commander also meets Luchan's mother. He pleads with Luchan's mother that I want to keep your son Luchan with me, so that when he grows up, he becomes a great warrior, because he has unique powers and strength. Then Luchan's mother thinks that this man may teach him kung fu, train him, and make him a good warrior. At the same time, he will also protect her son Luchan. So, she agrees to let the man keep Luchan with him. But soon after, Luchan's mother dies. Seeing this, Luchan becomes very sad and feels deeply broken. Now he starts living with the commander. After a few years, we see Luchan, who has now grown up. He has joined the king's army. He also fights in a war happening there. Here, he fights like an ordinary person. But we see that the king's army is losing. Then a man sent by the commander arrives. He attacks Luchan and knocks him down. He hits the mark on his head repeatedly. As a result, the mark starts growing larger. Its color also begins turning black. But then Luchan stands up. Now Luchan's eyes start glowing brightly. A unique kind of power awakens in him. He begins defeating the enemy army's soldiers one by one. As a result, the king wins the war. But Luchan is not okay, so he is immediately taken to the doctor. The doctor examines the mark and asks him, "Why are you like this? Why do you keep fighting?" Luchan says that the commander told me to do this. He said the more you fight, the stronger you will become. The doctor says that this is not helpful for you, because the more people hit your mark and attack you, the darker your mark becomes. The day this mark turns completely black, you will die. So you must not let anyone touch that mark. As for the commander, he is a greedy man. He will do anything for money. He doesn't care about anyone. But you should care about yourself and your life. The kung fu you are practicing now is draining all the energy from your body. As a result, you will soon become so weak that you will die. But you should learn Shen Shaolin Kung Fu. This will not reduce your body's power, but increase it. People use this kung fu to protect themselves and save their lives, not to kill others. But there is a small problem. Shen Shaolin Kung Fu is not taught to outsiders. Luchan asks the doctor, "Please tell me quickly, where can I learn Shen Shaolin Kung Fu?" The doctor says you must go to a village. There you can learn this kung fu. While they are talking, the commander arrives. A dispute breaks out between the commander and the doctor. As soon as it starts, they begin fighting. The doctor fights very skillfully. He uses Shen Shaolin Kung Fu to defend himself. He becomes eager to learn this kung fu. Then we see the enemy attack them on the same path. There is fire everywhere. Now Luchan must escape from there. But before leaving, he meets the doctor. He asks him to tell me where that village is, where I can learn Shen Shaolin Kung Fu. The doctor gives him the address. He says you must learn this kung fu from the grandmaster. Now Luchan sets off on his journey to reach his destination. For many days he wanders from village to village. Then he learns there is a village beyond a large mountain. That is where he must go. Upon entering the village, Luchan begins searching for the grandmaster. But all the villagers ask him the same question. "Have you come to learn Shen Shaolin Kung Fu?" He immediately says yes. Then every person in the village tells him that our art, our Kung Fu, is not taught to outsiders. Our art will stay only in our village. It will not leave here. So they tell Luchan to go back. Luchan feels very upset and disappointed and sits there. Then a girl, Yoni, and a boy, Xing, arrive in a large car. But Xing's car hits Luchan. As a result, Luchan falls a bit far and becomes unconscious. Then Yoni comes to him to revive Luchan and asks him, "Are you okay? Did you get hurt?" Seeing such a beautiful Yoni, Luchan quickly stands up. He likes her a lot. Yoni is actually the daughter of the Grandmaster here. She came with Xing to meet her friend. Xing is a high-ranking officer. Xing grew up in this village, but he is not from this village. He does not belong here. He went to England to study further. There, he learned about train technology and different companies. He wants to bring a train to this village with the East India Company. Yoni calls a meeting of all the villagers in the evening. Here, Xing presents a railway proposal. Since the village is in a very high mountainous area, people face problems traveling, so he wants to dig through the mountains and bring the train here. The train will be very useful. It will also bring electricity to the village. He demonstrates this at the time, but unfortunately his machine short-circuits. As a result, fire breaks out everywhere. Seeing this, all the villagers leave. They also reject Xing's train proposal. Seeing this, Xing feels very upset. He becomes very angry. The next day, when Yoni is at her house, Luchan comes to her. He asks her about the Grandmaster. Yoni tells him there is a forest far from here. There is a monastery there, and you can find the Grandmaster there. The forest seems very far away, but Luchan reaches it in some time. After arriving, he sees that no one lives in the monastery, so he returns to Yoni and asks about it. When Yoni starts leaving in anger, Luchan stops her. Here, Yoni attacks him with her ancient Kung Fu. A powerful fight breaks out between them, but in this fight, Yoni hits him hard. As a result, Luchan's condition worsens. At one point in the fight, Yoni grabs him with just 4 fingers. Luchan becomes completely weak. Yoni throws him straight down from the house. Because of this, Luchan is badly injured, but then a worker from the village brings Luchan to his house. Luchan asks him, "Can you teach me Kung Fu?" The man says, "No, I only do small tasks. I don't know anything about this." The worker explains a lot to Luchan. He also tells him to go back. That night, we see Yoni and Xing together. Xing is very upset with the villagers because of his failure. Yoni's family is also very wealthy and influential. In his anger, Xing ends his relationship with Yoni. There is no match between their families. Xing's family is from outside, and the villagers never want to accept them. Because of this, Xing leaves in anger. He is so angry that the next day, he goes to the government office. There, he gets approval to bring the train to the village. Without the villagers' permission, the East India Company will help him with this project. For the next few days, Luchan keeps getting beaten by the villagers. By doing this, he copies all their moves. Then he goes to a place and practices in the jungle. But then the worker who saved his life comes to him. Luchan tells him that I learned basic Kung Fu this way. After hearing this, the worker says that's fine. But listen, next time you fight someone, remember all their tricks and moves they use against you. Then use those same tricks and moves against them next time. The next day, Luchan goes to the village, where a boy challenges him. He tells Luchan, "If you knock the tofu off my hand, you win." The fight begins as soon as it starts. At first, Luchan gets beaten a lot, but then he starts copying all the boy's moves and tricks. He begins hitting the boy back. During this fight, someone pushes Luchan. As a result, Luchan falls onto the boy. The tofu in his hand falls. This way, Luchan wins, but then Luchan remembers that someone pushed him, so maybe that person is the Grandmaster. He goes there to find him, but he doesn't find anyone. Yoni realizes who must have pushed him, who is teaching him Kung Fu. So Yoni immediately goes to that man and scolds him a lot, because he broke the village's rules. Here, we learn that the one who pushed him was not Yoni, but the worker. Yoni tells him, "You know very well that this Kung Fu cannot be taught to outsiders." But the man denies it and says, "I didn't teach him anything. He learned it from the people around him." After saying this, the worker leaves. On the same day, a huge machine arrives in the village. It causes a massive earthquake in the village. As a result, the village suffers greatly. This machine belongs to Xing, not Yoni. His colleague is also with him. This girl studied with Xing in college. She supported him in this project. Now Xing confronts the villagers. He warns everyone to leave the village within 7 days. Otherwise, this machine will destroy their entire village. When Yoni looks at Xing, she becomes very angry with him. She refuses him for doing this. But Xing signals his colleague and moves the machine forward. It destroys the village's entire gate. After things calm down, a meeting is held in the village. But the Grandmaster, whom Luchan is searching for, is not present. Seeing this, Yoni becomes very angry. Then we see Luchan with the same worker. The worker tells Luchan to help the village, so that the villagers respect Luchan and accept him. Also, because of Xing, Luchan has a great opportunity. The worker sends Luchan inside the large machine to check how the final work is done. Luchan enters the machine and gathers many details. That night, Xing's colleague tells him that I like you and want to marry you. But Xing refuses and says, until I prove myself to the villagers, I don't want any relationship. After hearing Xing's refusal, his colleague wants to return to England. Xing tells her, though I'm not marrying you now, I have always liked you. Yoni overhears all this. Seeing this side of Xing, she feels very hurt. She becomes very angry. But then Yoni sees a book there. It is the manual for the large machine. So Yoni quietly takes the book. The next day, Luchan, with the workers' help, goes to destroy the machine. Yoni is also with them. They plan to sabotage the machine at night. Yoni tells Luchan they must go to the main control room, as described in the book. They split up and start searching for it. After a while, they find the main control room. But then Xing arrives and forbids them from doing this. Yoni doesn't listen to him. She inserts a rod into the main machine. This causes the entire machine to short circuit. Suddenly, explosions happen everywhere. During this chaos, Xing's colleague is severely injured. As a result, she dies. Because of this incident, Yoni faints. Luchan picks her up and brings her before all the villagers. At that moment, the Grandmaster also arrives. Now we learn something shocking. The Grandmaster is not Yoni, but the worker who has been helping Luchan. The worker, the Grandmaster, explains that I didn't want any villager involved in this fight. That's why I wanted to destroy the machine with Luchan's help. Because in this incident, a foreigner, Xing's colleague, was killed. Soon the East India Company will attack us, so all the villagers start preparing for war. A few days later, their army attacks. But all the villagers are ready. The Grandmaster also joins the fight. A massive battle takes place between them. Afterward, Xing escapes with his companions. Luchan faints while fighting in this battle. The mark on his head has also turned black. As a result, he is close to death. Then everyone goes to the village leader. Since Luchan learned Kung Fu from their village, he is sentenced to punishment. But the Grandmaster and his daughter Yoni oppose this decision. Luchan must still face punishment. But Yoni remembers that Luchan is a good person. He protected the village so much to learn Kung Fu. He didn't even care for his own life for the village. Yoni admires this greatly. So she announces her decision before all the villagers. Luchan is not from this village, but I will marry him now. After marriage, he will become part of my family and the village. Yoni's father, the Grandmaster, is very happy to hear this. This way, Luchan's life is saved. In the next scene, we see them get married. Then we see the East India Company accuse the village. Soon, they will come with their army to attack the village. With this, the movie ends here. Thanks for watching.